Welcome to Sarasota History Alive. I'm Lee Gaines, your host, and this week, in recognition of the beginning of the hurricane season, we're telling the story of the big one of 1921.
Weather forecasting was still in its infancy back then, and storms weren't named unless they hit land, if at all, but this one sure left an impression on Sarasota. On Saturday, October 22nd of 1921, we started to get a little rain in the recently formed county of Sarasota. However, by the time it was all over, the face of the small fishing community was changed forever. This no-name hurricane lifted the Seaboard Airline rail tracks from the dock and dropped them over the seawall onto Gulfstream Avenue, not far from City Hall.
The Dixon Fish House survived the storm, but John Savarese was not so lucky.
His wholesale fish house at the end of the railroad dock crumbled into a pile of rubble, along with other fishing enterprises on the waterfront. Fish nets and boats were lost or destroyed, and the municipal pier was partly damaged as well. The Sarasota Times summarized the storm's impact and estimated the property losses just under $150,000, a tidy sum back then. John Ringling's yacht, Zumbrota, had broken loose from its anchorage at Cedar Point, now called Golden Gate Point, but suffered only slight damage. The city's records were saved by the clerk of court, who moved them uptown to Mayor A.B. Edwards' office. However, the clerk's office in City Hall suffered significant water damage. Mayor Edwards called all residents into action to help clean up debris in the storm's aftermath. Good thing his leadership always instilled civic dedication in Sarasotans, because back then there was no such thing as FEMA.
The lasting beneficial effect of the hurricane was the change to the bayfront it triggered.
Prior to the storm, there had been talk of making the bayfront more attractive, which meant moving the fish houses. With most of them destroyed by the storm, the city quickly moved to acquire the basin at the end of 10th Street. Calvin N. Payne, nationally known oil man from Pennsylvania and winter resident in Sarasota, dredged the basin, built the bulkheads and docks. Voters approved a bond issue in February of 1923, allowing the city to purchase it from him and give him naming rights to what became Payne Terminal. To prevent future hurricane damage, the new municipal pier was now made of concrete. The city council determined that no longer would the pier be used for warehouses, fish houses, or machine shops, but for recreational purposes. This advancement symbolized Sarasota's transition from frontier settlement to modern city that focused on tourism as one of its mainstays.
Thanks for joining us, and make sure that you are prepared this hurricane season. Also remember to come back each week as we continue to explore our past and keep Sarasota history alive.